You're listening to Closing Market Weekly, the show where real estate closings meet real world insight. With your host, Phillip Hogan, and every week we break down the trends, tools, and the timing that keeps deals moving forward. Let's dive in. Hi, I'm Phillip Hogan, host of Closing Market Weekly. Many of you may know me as the CEO of Signing Services of America. Since 2016, I've worked with hundreds of professionals across the mortgage and real estate settlement space, from title agents and escrow officers to lenders, attorneys, and notaries. One thing I've noticed in this industry, we often talk to each other, but not with each other. That's why Closing Market Weekly was created, to offer a space for honest, practical conversations about the real issues, challenges, and trends shaping the closing market. Today's guest is someone I've had the pleasure of working with closely over 6 years. Tammy Ringeisen partnered on countless signings and countless projects, and I'm excited to finally bring one of our behind the scene conversations to the podcast. Tammy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Philip. Thank you
And,
for having me on your podcast.
and we're excited to have you. And let me just share with you and our audience Tammy's background. Tammy is Vice President of Compliance and Client Audit with over 32 years of experience in the title, closing, and appraisal industry. She has deep expertise in regulatory compliance, client audit management, and vendor management oversight. Ms. Ringeisen spent 25 years at ServiceLink and currently works with Mortgage Connect, where she built a strong foundation in vendor compliance and audit readiness. For the past 7 years, she has served in the leadership role at Mortgage Connect, helping to strengthen compliance frameworks and client trust. She holds paralegal degree and is known for her detail-oriented approach and commitment to integrity in every facet of her work. Tammy, what an impressive background.
Thank you.
Yes, so let's go ahead and dive right in. So
Okay,
Tammy, tell us a little bit more about Mortgage Connect, if you would, please.
sure. Mortgage Connect is a prominent national provider of mortgage services, and we are located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and we have been in operation for 17 years.
That's fantastic. And what was your first experience like in the closing process? How did you get on? How did you get into this industry, and what was your first experience in the closing process?
Well, I got in this industry back in 1992. So it's we're gonna go back a few years. But when I first started in the industry, I started as a processor. So I started working on files from start to taking it all the way to closing.
Uh-huh. Great. Okay. And Tammy, it's been great working with you. We have done thousands of deals, and this is the first time that I think that we've ever really had a conversation, not without having a particular file in mind.
Yes, exactly.
So so it's been a pleasure working with you. So then Tammy, as we move on in our show, there are a few questions that I'd like to ask you, and one of them is, what is one tool or system you swear by?
In my role today,
Mhm.
one of the platforms that we use in my vendor risk management team is a third-party platform.
Mhm.
So we utilize that platform that allows us to customize questionnaires for our vetting of our different third-party vendors. So we tier our vendors.
Mhm.
So that allows us to customize the questionnaires that we send out, which has helped us tremendously as part of the vetting process.
And how did Mortgage Connect come about creating this type of third-party software?
So we did extensive research. So this is a software that we purchased,
Mhm.
that we use.
Mhm. Mhm. And, and so the with the years that you spent in the industry, you have realized that there are certain issues and concerns that you're seeing within the vendors that you work with, and so that therefore you created this third party software to help select the vendors, to help to direct the vendors, or was it
This is actually more of a vetting of the vendors. So
very
the
good.
business will find a vendor for
Mm-hmm.
their need.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but before that vendor is able to do any work or provide services to Mortgage Connect, they must be fully vetted.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes anywhere from their IT processes, their systems, and so forth. So we want to make sure that the vendors that we are vetting are clear and secure for
Mm-hmm.
our organization to use.
Mm-hmm. And does this third party software, are there new variations of it each year, or is it pretty much once it has been created and working fine, then you continue to use that particular platform?
Uh, they make modifications. We work very closely with the company. And as we're working through, if there are modifications that they would like us
Hmm.
to, like we would like to see,
Hmm.
we present it to them and they put it into, you know, out to their process team to
Hmm.
see if they can make the modifications for us.
Sounds like it's a fascinating piece of software, and I'm sure it's a life it saves a lot of time. I won't say lifesaver,
It
but it
is.
saves a lot of time
It does.
and makes the whole process much more efficient.
Yes,
Yes, yes,
absolutely.
that's great. That's great. Thanks for sharing that. And so we want to then, talk about some other relevant points in today's show and really have you, plug into your expertise and what you have brought to the industry with all the years that you've served. So, with the topic of technology and compliance, Tammy, would you please talk about the role that technology has in being compliant in this space?
Yes. So one of the main things so with technology, um, our closing process, as you know, there's still a lot of uh, risk associated with our industry as far as one main thing that we talk about is phishing.
Mm-hmm.
So because we utilize um, so many different subcontractors, this brings a huge risk to the company and to the organization because our mortgage industry is heavily targeted by bad actors because of the information that can be obtained through our organization.
Mm-hmm. And so when you talk about fishing, we're not talking about going out to the
No,
river and going
no,
fishing.
no, not that type of fishing. So there are multiple levels of fishing.
Hmm.
You have your basic phishing, which is uh, emails that are sent out in bulk. So, uh, and they're just looking to hopefully you're going to click on that basic email
Hmm.
and they're going to try to get your personal information
Hmm.
or upload some malware um, onto your system.
Hmm.
And then but there's also other levels of phishing. So there's one that is called quishing, and that is the QR codes. So you see QR codes throughout, um, restaurants, and a lot of people have um, uh, uploaded QR codes. Um, but that is also a means for bad actors. What they will do is they will upload a website that will redirect you. If once you click on that QR code, it will redirect you to another website, which then is asking you to upload your credentials or upload malware.
Wow.
Um,
So this thing has really become quite sophisticated. You know,
yes.
it seems like there's there's a new edition of phishing as we
Well,
continue to use the internet. Yes.
yes. You know, a couple others that is very important is there's voice. So if you've received a phone call from someone, sometimes it's from a reputable company that you are familiar with, maybe your cable company, um, or in the industry, it could be a bank or a mortgage lender,
Mm-hmm.
and they are trying to get information from you as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Mm-hmm.
They make it sound that we need your updated information.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also text messaging, um, which is smishing.
Mm.
So they all have names. Um, so there's smishing, and that is when you receive a text message, um, also from somebody. And what they're asking is it's an urgent. I know just in Pennsylvania here, we just had a recent bout with Pennsylvania toll roads.
Mm.
So they were saying you've recently used the toll road and you need to pay this bill. Um, I never use a toll road, so I knew that right away that that was a phishing attempt.
Mm-hmm.
But uh, for all of the individuals that do use a toll road,
Mm-hmm.
that would be something that may have been a concern for them that they would have clicked on that link.
Mm-hmm.
Um, also, you'll see around Christmas time a lot of links that will come out that your package hasn't is not able to be delivered. That's another good phishing attempt that they try to get you to click because they do know you're waiting for packages to come into the mail.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, please.
Um, then you do have emails. That
Mm-hmm.
there's another one that's called the two main ones that are spear phishing. So you have spear phishing, which is where the email is customized with your name or your role or has company details. So that's another way for them to, like an example, like, hi, Philip, um, you know, please look at the attached reports for the meeting scheduled tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So they've customized it to you. They've shown a sense of urgency, which is a lot of phishing emails. You will see a lot of sense of urgency. They want you to react to them.
Mm-hmm.
And probably the most dangerous one is clone phishing.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where the bad actor has, um, they have one of your emails.
Mm-hmm.
So they see a chain of emails. Um, and what they will do is they will take that email and they will upload a malicious link or an attachment and they'll resend it to you.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't think twice about clicking on it because they either will send it out of order or they will send it as like a duplicate email. And when you're processing many files and throughout your day, you don't think twice about it
Mm-hmm.
and you will click on that link. Um, so my organization does a fabulous job with communicating to the staff and educating the staff through annual training, quarterly training, um, simulated phishing. But um, one of the things that my compliance team has identified is there is a gap within um, with the independent contractors.
Mm-hmm.
So they work on the as an independent contractor, so they don't have an established IT department constantly
Mm-hmm.
um, updating them on new uh, threats that are coming out.
Mhm. And that's why, that's why I'm so happy that you came onto the show to talk about this very important topic because it's relevant and for everyone that's in the industry, but particularly the independent contractor who, as you said, may not have the particular hardware, software, or the technology to be able to detect these things. And they're thinking that, a email is an innocent email with innocent intent. And they open it. And before you know it, the threat has now been able to come into their system and cause havoc in people's lives,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so we talked about phishing, spear phishing, and clone phishing,
Hmm.
right? And so, as the independent contractor, Tammy, who receives an email, who receives hundreds of emails from God knows who they do business with or who they communicate with, are there any kind of oversimplified paths that they could take to prevent themselves from being a victim of these phishing attacks? Or is there software that you might
Well,
recommend that they could purchase to help them protect themselves from phishing attacks?
so there isn't, so a few things. So one, and this is not just with our signing agents, this is for pretty much anybody,
Mm-hmm.
is to create multiple email addresses. So
Mm-hmm.
for anybody that is doing business, such as a signing agent with an email address, is to create an email address that is utilized for work purposes only.
Mm-hmm.
So any communication coming in and out of that email address is solely related to work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then create an email address if you communicate with your families or pay utility bills online,
Mm-hmm.
is to create an email address just for your family and for utility bills. So anything coming into that email address, is for family members or payment. And
Mm-hmm.
then your third email address would be for any purchases, because once you purchase something, every day you're getting updated, or not updated, but new emails. This is on sale, and even sometimes you have to be careful when you click on um, that you want to disconnect from that email, then, that can sometimes trigger, phishing emails as well. So you have to be careful with that. So this way you're able to just go into your emails that you purchase things from and just mass delete once
Mm-hmm.
things are delivered. So it's a little cleaner. I know a lot of people don't want to manage three email boxes, but it does definitely protect you a little bit more. Um, and then also to delete your sent and your deleted items um, uh, on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody does get into your email, if it is compromised, then that all those emails are gone.
Hmm. That's a very good tip, Tammy. Thank you for sharing that. So let's just repeat that again. If you have one email account that's being used multiple purposes, you're suggesting have multiple email accounts and
Mm-hmm.
begin to categorize where you use that email and what content comes in on that email. So
Correct.
notary signing agents, you want to have notary signing agent at y at wcf.com. So any business that you do in the notary signing agent role will only come into that particular email. And then your personal email, the family and friends, can be used as, p.hogan at whatever. And then
Correct.
shopping, if you're shopping in Amazon or any other type of online sites, you want to have p.hogan shopping at, whatever.
Right.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Okay. And so by doing so, what will happen is that it will give you a better control on being able to monitor what comes in and thus
Correct.
determine what's the best action to take.
Yes.
Right. That's a very healthy tip. Thank you for sharing
Yeah.
that,
Oh,
Tammy.
you're welcome. And also to always make sure that you keep your software up to date,
Mm-hmm.
and then also use multi-factor authentication.
Mm-hmm.
That will not stop phishing, but
Mm-hmm.
setting up multi-factor authentication um, will help if your email is compromised and they do get your credentials, they're not able to move forward because you have the dual multi-factor authentication set.
Yeah, and so that's worth repeating because what we want to do is we need to raise the defense
Mhm.
of wall, if you will, in the notary signing community so that, the possibilities of these threats can be either eliminated or reduced. And I know sometimes, having a multi-factor authenticated system can be complex, can be, it comes sometimes can be difficult and time consuming. However,
Right.
if we have to be mindful that, if we don't do this, what could happen? Right?
Yes.
And if you're a notary signing, not if, but as a notary signing agent, your computer and your software in that computer is one of the most important tools that you use to doing your work. And it's just as important, if not more important, than your vehicle. So
Yes.
so we want to make sure that we're taking the time to protect ourselves, and not only protect ourselves, but also the individuals that give you the business, right, Tammy?
Yes, absolutely. And that is one of the things that, we strive to do is make sure that we do everything as an organization to keep the consumer data as safe as possible. And one of that is educating our signing agents um, and our vendors that we utilize um, on phishing,
Mm-hmm.
because that's a level of defense that we can say that we do to keep them as safe as possible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Without a doubt. And this is a conversation that, needs to be repeated over and over and over because, just like we're looking for, as a signing agent, we're always looking, signing agents and signing services are always looking for more business, to constantly do what we do. The threats are just constantly looking for more and more opportunities to run havoc in someone's life. And
Absolutely.
and so we have to constantly, just like they are realizing, okay, they being the threats are realizing that, well, we've now need to go another path because that door is closed. And they find another opening, and then before you know it, they're exploiting that. And so we have to think along the same lines to
Hmm.
realize that what we did 6 months ago, you may need to modify because the cybersecurity criminals have gotten sharper and realizing that, okay, we can no longer do what we used to do the way we used to do it. So Tammy, so is there any other type of technology that well, you talk about technology. So in terms of compliance, is there anything that you can share with our audience in regarding to being compliant with the standards and requirements for Mortgage Connect?
Uh, Again, as far as being compliant,
Mm-hmm.
I think each of us, we have to take on that responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
right? We have to make sure, again, in this industry, we are very busy.
Mm-hmm.
We are moving at, hyper speed to just, you know, get through the files and get them prepped for closing and a lot of communication. But we really have to be diligent and stop and take our time and look at the attachments that are coming through and the emails that are coming through. And that's looking at the sender, looking at the attachments. It's as simple as hovering over a link that will show you. If you hover over a link before you click it, it will show you who the domain that it's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
So if I send you a link and you see that it's coming from Mortgage Connect, you know it is a legitimate link and you can click on it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you click on it or if you hover over it and you see that it's coming from bad actor, you know, 2007, then
Mm-hmm.
you know that okay, this is not a good link.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in even looking at an email, the bad actors, um, obviously they can't copy an email, but um, what they will do is they will change like the letter O to the letter zero, or an I or an L to the number one. And because we are moving at such speed to get things processed, you don't catch that O is a zero or the L is the number one, and that's how they get those emails through.
That's good stuff, Tammy. So, I think what we should say here is, not say, I'm sorry. I think what we might want to kind of like demonstrate is just because Tammy sends you emails every day, 3 or 4 times a day, it doesn't mean that the sixth time or the fifth time that email is going to
Correct.
be from Tammy. And so let's not assume that, okay, just because Tammy spells her name Tammy, it doesn't mean that email will always come from Tammy, and it's a legitimate email.
Hmm.
And I think we just have to become more responsible and practice due diligence, and not assuming that who sends us, the person that sent us these emails yesterday or the day before or the last week is the same person that's sending them today, because our emails are being monitored. Is that not what you're saying, Tammy?
That is correct.
Yeah.
So if you click on, a link, and sometimes, the malware that they install could be monitoring
Hmm.
they're taking snapshots of your email,
Hmm.
or they're monitoring it real time. They're seeing who you're emailing and so forth. So that's how they're able to see this and just say, oh, I'm just going to change this one little letter and send them a link with this malicious URL, and somebody clicks on it.
Hmm. Wow. This is it's fascinating conversation, Tammy. That from
It's
Yeah.
it's something that needs to be very taken very serious,
Mm,
just because, especially now, even with AI technology, a hallmark to spotting a phishing email was poor grammar.
mm,
But now with AI technology, bad actors are now able to use that to write a more professional email.
mm,
So even utilizing that, is now, they're stepping up their game.
mm.
And there isn't anything outside of us being diligent and double checking on everything, before we click on it, um, that can, prevent that.
And and I think another tool that can help prevent is just communicating within the notary signing community what's going on.
Right.
And I mean, you're on the show, we're talking about a relevant topic, and again, thank you for that. But I think it's our responsibility as citizens in both those within the signing service or signing community to share this kind of information, and just in our blogs, any
Hmm.
particular Facebook groups that we're a part of, what's going on here, and how can we protect ourselves, and also more importantly protect our vendor, protect the client relationships that you have, and of course who the end user, the homeowner, the consumer, the
Yes.
client, right? And so there is a responsibility that in the notary signing community that we have, and that is to do everything that we can to put up the barriers and keep those barriers high, so that these kind of things don't hurt us, because we have just become relaxed, so think it's not our responsibility. This is something that is everyone's responsibility. And Tammy, you've come to the show and you've given a spotlight on a topic that needs attention, and I think it needs consistent attention.
And that's one of the things that Mortgage Connect has identified. And we're working on creating, uh, and communicating with our signing agents, training on, how to identify, phishing. What does it look like? What would you do if you clicked on something? So, because again, they are an independent contractor and they're not communicated. Um, they don't get that communication, like we do,
Hmm.
as a company. So we want to take that and we want to partner with the signing agents, and we want to help them, understand, what this is.
And I think that that's really, honorable for Mortgage Connect to want to do something like that, because, you're realizing that, well, if we want to mitigate the threat we can do everything that's possible within our domain, within our company, right? But we're realizing that the threat doesn't always exist within our company. It does exist within the vendor community, and you're willing to provide some type of training or some
Hmm.
type of information to the vendor community so that they're knowledgeable. And I think that's really bravo for Mortgage Connect to want to realize that that's sort of like the Achilles heel, and that what are you doing to strengthen it?
Yes.
And so, for those of us that work with Mortgage Connect, hey, listen, we need to say thank you for being proactive here. And Tammy, I just want to thank you for that great segment, because I learned a tremendous amount of information about the various types of phishing attacks that are occurring throughout the globe, and more so that goes on within our industry. So as we begin to wrap up, Tammy, I'd just like you to please leave one bit of advice for someone who's looking to improve their closing success rate, and what would it be?
Um, to improve their closing success rate, I would always say, treat every closing like it was your own closing.
Mm,
So be prepared, double check everything before you go to the closing table, and double
hmm
check everything before you leave the closing table.
hmm I don't have to say anything after that. Great
Uh,
advice. Great advice. And so, Tammy, if someone wanted to reach out to you and maybe, continue these conversations, or possibly invite you to talk with them and their group, what's the best place, or best, how would someone be able to contact you?
the best communication would be through our VRMO folder, uh, email address. So it's VRMO at mortgageconnectlp.com.
Okay, could you repeat that one more time, please?
Sure. It's VRMO at mortgageconnectlp.com.
And once that email is received, they will in turn route it to the best persons or departments, and that
Yes.
those individuals will contact
Mhm.
the. Okay, great,
So
fantastic,
whether it's you have questions, additional questions in regards to phishing or our upcoming training, or you would like to, interested in becoming a signing agent, you're more than welcome to email any questions to that folder, and we will definitely get back to you.
fantastic. Well, Tammy, listen, it's such a delight to have you on the show.
Yes, thank you again.
Oh my goodness, thank you. You have given us such a wide range of information that is so valuable to the work that we do. And I'm sure Mortgage Connect is so happy to have you on their team.
Thank you, Philip.
You're welcome. Okay, folks, that's it. Another show is wrapping up on Closing Market Weekly. Thank you so much for listening. Please like, share, and follow us on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple. Bye, Tammy.
Bye, Philip.
Thanks for tuning in to the Closing Market Weekly. If you found this episode valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone in the industry. For more insights from the front lines of real estate closings, we'll see you next week.